Okay, morning, folks. Welcome to the briefing on Saturday the 4th. I've left the overnight chart up because we've been watching the weather forecast over the last couple of days, and it was pretty obvious what was going to happen, but the timing was looking a bit sort of moving back and forwards, and weren't really sure whether this cold front here was going to be loitering over us for the whole of the morning. Up to about 24 hours ago, that looked like the case, but clearly it's whistled through and is well clear of us. This little low pressure is developing here. There is rain band down the East Anglia coast at the moment, so I'm just watching that for late today, overnight, see where that one's going. But you can see the spacing on the isobars fairly close together, so as that low pressure sort of tracks down towards us, I think it'll compress the isobars and we will start to see it get windier and windier for this afternoon. You can see that in the TAFs for Farnborough down there. So generally they're saying 270, 12 knots. It's pretty much down the runway now at the moment, probably 8 to 10 knots at the most by the looks of it. It'll pick up a little bit during the day. Scattered at 3,000 feet, it's nice and clear. I think you will get possibility of a little bit of local soaring. But at some point in the morning, they're sort of saying 12 to 18, it's going to increase from 15 gusting 25. I think that's probably the case. And that'll then go around northwesterly. They're talking about 290 degrees. So we'll see during the morning the wind swing to a more northwesterly direction, pick up, probably get a bit blustery, a bit gusty during the day. Most of the other forecasts saying the same sort of thing. Gatwick are just saying that they've got rain at the moment, and it will improve a little bit later. Upper winds, you saw how tightly spaced the isobars are. You can see how strong they are. Middle of the country, 30 to 40 knots at flying heights down over us, probably a fraction less than that, but not much. I think you're looking at 30 knots from the northwest, west northwesterly, so 290, 300 degrees, somewhere around there. So yeah, pretty strong winds, folks, during the day, and getting stronger in the afternoon. SatPic shows nice clearance over the centre of the country. Bright bits out to the west over Wales and North England are rain showers, and this is a solid band of rain down here. I think this is going to stay with us for most of the day. You can see on the rainfall radar. There's the cold front clearing through us, moving away from the UK. These showers here over Wales, that's where they tend to stay, to be honest, looking at the weather pattern. The ones over here will track down this way a little bit, but not much. And it's showery in the West Country. I think we'd be very, very unlucky if we saw a shower today. Quite often with the northwesterly wind, these showers stay here and they just get broken up. They come off the hills. And they don't tend to progress down the country towards us. Temperature wise, look where the wind was coming from, folks. Northwesterly, it's coming down from sort of Iceland area. It's going to feel fairly cold, 6-7 degrees out there today. With the wind chill, it'll only feel a few degrees above freezing, so lots of coats, lots of layers, and hat and gloves I would have thought for today. Top Meteo showing that clearance, predicting that clearance being with us for most of the day. Again, showers over the west of England and into Wales, and that's how it stays really for most of the day. This is the low pressure probably developing here and coming down to the east of us late in the day. Probably after we finish, we'll see any effect from that. So yeah, nice day, bit blustery, and should be some local soaring, hopefully. Okay, so operationally and airspace, we'll go do airspace first. That picture's not really changed very much in the last week or two. Number 4 is Southampton. It just shows their hours of operation up to 10 o'clock tonight. It's slightly different from their normal published hours. Number 9 is Middle Wallop. No Townders having gliding activity at the weekend. Number 11 is the Danger Area Crossing service not available at Salisbury Plain. And number 15 is Fairford ATZ is activated till 6 o'clock tonight. And that's really about it. In terms of operation, folks, yeah, the grass is going to be a bit wet. So we'll be on the main runway. Cables coming down the north side, grass on the boom, gliders on the runway. So we'll have cables north side, winch gliders, launch point vehicle and aero towing from the southern side of the runway. You can land on the grass either side, that'll be fine. It's not that wet that we need to move the runway forward. So we launch point forward and land on the runway. So yeah, landing as normal, but the actual flying operation will take place on the runway. I don't think we've got a particularly busy day, but what we do have is a King Air coming in somewhere between sort of 10:30ish and 11. It's leaving Ireland at 9:30. So that'll be in to us, usual overfly the launch point. And that's the only movement activity that we've got from 2E today. So looks quite nice. Let's go out there and get the kit out and get set up and hopefully get flying.